The word I keep hearing from NFL execs is potential. They think Manziel's potential is off the charts. Shannon, do you agree?
Hell no. Johnny Manziel has the potential to get you in trouble just like he got Cleveland in trouble. I've never seen anything like this, Skip. What this is that execs want to be right. Johnny was a first-round pick. If Johnny Manziel was a fourth or fifth-round pick, everybody would have just been gone. But I got to be right. And if Johnny were to come back, they get to say, see, I told you. He just needed to be in the right situation, have someone to cultivate him and put him in a system that he could flourish. Yep. It's hard for me to believe that you can watch a guy that hadn't played NFL football in 2 years go to a league that most of us have never heard of, playing with guys that may not have ever played in the NFL or may never play in the NFL.
Yep.
And after one game, you can say his potential is off the chart. Potential means you haven't done anything yet. Johnny Manziel, one game in this league, and you got some NFL execs saying his talent is, his potential is off the charts. Ask Cleveland where they got them. Skip, he's an they make it seem like Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton. Cam Newton had talent that's off the chart. 6'5", 250 pounds, running 4.5 40, could throw the ball 70 yards. That's potential off the chart. You're talking about a guy that's 5'11", that his whole thing is playing off script. Basically, don't call a play, let him draw it up in the sand, and let's go make it play. His best years was playing with Mike Evans. Well, what did he do, Skip? Run around, throw the ball up, Mike Evans jump up, make a play.
Yep.
And for that, for an exec to say his potential is off the charts after watching this game, Skip, if it's in the preseason, let's just say it's the Hall of Fame game. Let's just say you see something in practice against guys that's on an NFL roster that has the potential of making a team. Okay, man, Johnny looked like he's good. He looked like he's calmed down. He's playing more within the system. He still can make his plays outside the pocket, but he's throwing the ball well from inside the pocket. But to watch this and to say his potential is off the chart, man, it's straight BS.
I agree if they're talking about watching that spring league game, whatever, in which he got sacked 3 times in the half that he played and made one rollout touchdown pass to somebody who probably won't make it in the NFL against DBs who probably won't make it in the NFL.
Correct.
I'm with you on that. I think what the Mike Freeman anonymous quotes refer back to is what the whole league came to think of Johnny ahead of his draft. And I was there. I was ahead of the curve on Johnny because the year before, I didn't like him. I loved him. And all of a sudden, everybody started coming around before the draft. And the great Mel Kiper at ESPN, I'm going to remind you, in his final mock ahead of Johnny's draft, he had him going 7th to Tampa Bay. That would have changed some Tampa Bay history, right? Probably for the worse. But the point is, that's how much Mel came to think of a Johnny that early on he did not have, obviously, in his first round. And I used to go back and forth with Mel the year before. I said, boy, he's a special kid. He's got magic about him. And I agree. He's 5'11". I think he measured 5'11" and 5'8" maybe. Huge hands for his height and huge feet for his height, which gave him incredible balance and elusivity that the likes of which I haven't seen this side of Russell Wilson. Because Russell Wilson is hard to get on the ground, and Johnny was hard to get on the ground. And I don't need to remind you the 2 games against Alabama, and I got Nick Saban. We had him on the show on ESPN, and I talked to him off camera about Johnny. He just raved about him. He said, I just don't know if he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy at that size, running around the way he has to run around to make plays. Then Saban said he's going to be a star in the National Football League. So everybody came around. All those ESPN ex-player analysts, starting with Ron Jaworski, they all came around and said, yeah, I'd take him in the first round. So it wasn't a split decision that he would go in the first round. Everybody expected. In fact, he actually fell farther than most people thought, all the way to Cleveland. And again, he texted Dal Loggins, who was then the quarterback coach of the Browns, and said, let's wreck the league together. And Dal Loggins said, hey, Mr. Haslam, look at this. Down at the end of the table at the War Room. Look at this. Look what Johnny just texted me. Haslam's choice.
Thank you.
Do it now. Because it was their second first-round pick.
Because Ray Farmer and Mike Patton
said no.
Because unlike Johnny said if they had done their homework, they would have knew he wasn't the next old guy. Well, they did. Ray Farmer and Mike Patton had done their homework.
And lately, Johnny has said, I didn't care about the X's and O's. And he never did. Under Cliff Kingsbury, who was his coordinator at Texas A&M before he went to Texas Tech in the Heisman year. Remember what happened? Yeah. Cliff Kingsbury did a whole piece on Johnny that I wrote for ESPN.com, and Cliff Kingsbury told me that I don't know how many times Johnny would come to the sideline and apologize to me. I'm sorry, and Cliff would say, you never have to apologize for scoring a touchdown. But they were, as you say, off script.
Right.
He was just making it up on the fly. And in college football, you could consistently get away with it.
That is correct. Let me tell you a guy that has potential that's off the chart. You might have heard about him. His name is Josh Gordon. He missed 2 games and he led the NFL in receiving. He gets suspended for 9 games, and his first game back, he goes over 100 yards. You saw flashes of what he could do last year. That's potential that's off the charts.
Yeah.
What
no, I mean, that's the NFL, but you saw it.
Right.
I saw a Hall of Fame arc.
I
saw one game against New England where they just couldn't defend him. They could put 3 people on him. They couldn't stop him.
Whether like he had back-to-back 200-yard games or something, like he just went bonkers.
Yeah, that's the potential you saw. Like you actually saw it happen in the NFL.
That's potential.
It wasn't college potential, it's pro potential.
Right. That's potential off the chart.
And by the way, for about 3 or 4 months, just about a year ago, Josh Gordon and Johnny Manziel lived together in West Hollywood, not too far from here on the west side of Los Angeles. And guess what was going on there? Nothing good.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to talk about potential off the charts, okay, give me Josh Gordon. Because I've seen him do it in NFL situations. So we knew if he got his head straight. My only thing was, Skip, my only question about Josh was, could he get his head straight? Because I've seen enough. You go for it, you miss 2 games, and you still lead the NFL in receiving yards, and you miss 10 games, and you come back out in your first game, you go over 100 yards.
You know how many drug flameouts Josh had already suffered through?
Thank you.
Back to college. It just happened again and again and again and again and again and again. He's on about his 7th or 8th chance.
But this is about, Skip, all those guys that gave Johnny Manziel a first-round grade.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make it, that's on their resume. So if he makes it, has some salvageable career, they go like, see, I told you. He just those drugs, and he just got into the wrong situation. They want to be right.
Yeah. No, I got it. But I'm going to say it one more time. I said on television before the draft, Johnny has issues with alcohol, and if they persist and they turn into bigger issues, I am out. I said it again and again before the draft, and I was not aware he'd also had some drug issues starting at Texas A&M. Well, it's not going to work. You're going to have the pressure to live up to your draft status in Cleveland, and you're not going to like it there. And guess what happened? Bad stuff happened. Yeah. And he doesn't study to start with, and then he loves the nightlife, I think, more than he loves football. And now that he's about to lose football, he's saying all the right things because he is Eddie Haskell from the old Leave It to Beaver show. When he's around the adults, he can really talk adult well. He talks 10 years older than he is when he wants to. Then he acts 10 years younger than he is at night.
Yeah, when he was in front of Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver, he was, oh, yeah, sure, Miss Cleaver.
Yes, sir.
And as soon as they turned it back, he was thumping Beaver side to head.
He was, you little squirt.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's true. No, that's Johnny Manziel.
Exactly.
I'm out. I don't trust him anymore. I'm sorry. I still like him personally, or I'm trying to like him personally. But they're all fools because this has turned into nothing but fool's gold. And I admire the fact he did get himself back in some kind of shape. And I'm sure he can go light it up in the spring league and throw some touchdowns. They got another big, it's like a scrimmage actually, but it's coming up next Saturday. They'll do it again. Wow. And trust me, Johnny will throw a couple of touchdown passes and the internet will go wild. And maybe some NFL teams will say, maybe we should give it a shot. Because you know and I know they can't find enough quarterback.
Nope.
Not enough at that position.
You're exactly right. And they'll give them as many chances as it need to be proven right.
Well, not all of them. But
oh, my bad. Yeah, you're right.
Should LeBron be scared of the Sixers? We'll discuss that with Jim Jackson next.